Lawmakers are making the final effort to reach a COVID stimulus deal before Congress adjourns for the year. Here with the latest is Bloomberg Congressional reporter Eric Wasson. Hey, Eric, it's great to have you back here. Look, give us the latest. Where do you think stand on the talks?
You know, the main sticking point has to do with limitations on Fed facilities, on Fed lending powers. Republicans are making a last-minute push led by Pennsylvania Senator Pat Toomey to insert language into this must-pass spending and COVID relief bill that would limit the ability of the Fed to either restart the CARES $500 billion Main Street lending program or create a similar program. So Democrats are saying that this language is overly broad, would tie the hands of the Biden administration or Jerome Powell next year if the economy continues to struggle. So this has become the major holdup at this point. But there are some signs that the House could vote as late as as early as very late tonight to try to get this through if this problem can be resolved.
Okay, that's surprising for me to hear because that hasn't been something that we've heard a lot about. Does this have anything to do with what happened a few weeks ago between Jerome Powell and Steve Mnuchin?
Yes, it's definitely linked to that. The secretary believes he has the authority to claw back that money to put it back into the general treasury, and there's been a dispute over that language already. The bill under discussion would, in fact, to make that official that the money has been clawed back and use that in order to lower the top-line spending level in order to appease some deficit hawks here in Congress. However, there is some concern by Republicans that the program could be restarted and would become an unaccountable slush fund. Their argument is that Congress has the power of the purse and that the Fed shouldn't be holding on to potentially hundreds of billions of dollars in an unaccountable way.
How is this tied to whether or not the government shuts down tonight at midnight?
So the vehicle for COVID relief is this must-pass spending bill. The government is going to run out of funding at midnight. There's a one-week stopgap measure that's being used right now to keep the government running. And this is going to become the vehicle for COVID relief. So if they can't get the COVID relief bill done, then they're not really willing to let the major funding bill go. They could pass another stopgap bill. However, some members are saying that they won't let that happen because they want to keep the pressure on to finish the COVID deal. So it's kind of a mess. If the midnight deadline passes, the White House Budget Office has some discretion to stop a shutdown from happening for a few hours or even a few days. But by Monday, we're hearing they'll have to start furloughing workers and shutting down operations.
Yeah, I think kind of a mess is a very good way to describe what has been happening in Congress of late. What's at stake here, Eric? What could Americans lose?
Well, I mean, you've got the economy, which is very, very fragile right now, and you have, continuingly, high levels of unemployment claims. And for those who are in sectors of the economy, whether it's travel, entertainment, restaurants, that are especially hard hit by the pandemic due to the inability of people to congregate, you're seeing unemployed really facing a loss of benefits and even evictions at the end of this year. By the 26th of December, two vital programs, the pandemic unemployment program for gig workers, as well as the one for people who have exceeded their 13 weeks of normal unemployment insurance, do expire. So you're going to have a cliff there that could cause, us to tip into a double-dip recession.
Okay, just based on your reporting, Eric, I don't want to. I hesitate to ask you to make a prediction here, but is there a chance that something gets passed before, or that we get something before the end of the day?
There certainly is a chance. I think, the pressure is really mounting. We have just now Democrats really signaling out that this is the Fed issue is holding up everything. That puts a lot of pressure on the senators who are pushing for this. This is becoming the major focus of everyone in the building here. So, I think that something could break on that, some kind of compromise emerge. Once that happens, I think the dominoes will fall into place. But again, the people haven't really seen the text of this deal. We just saw Josh Hawley, the Missouri senator on the Senate floor, complaining he doesn't know what the direct payments are. That he wants $1,200 per individual. The deal on the table only has $600. He personally can filibuster a stopgap spending bill later today and shut down the government on this issue.
Has the attitude on Capitol Hill changed this week? I mean, on Wednesday, we heard Fed Chair Jerome Powell talk to reporters in his press conference, his monthly press conference, the last one of the year, and basically say, hey, the Fed is doing everything it can do. It's incumbent upon lawmakers to actually bring the fiscal relief now. One person I spoke to described this as basically a sledgehammer in words to members of Congress. Has the attitude changed?
Well, Powell's been saying that all along, and it has had limited effect, to be honest. But I think the main issue is that they just disagree on how to do it. I would say that 80% of members here think the government has to act in some way. You do have some fiscal conservatives or small government types that don't believe the government has much of a role in the economy. But aside from those people, there's a real sense that something needs to be done. The question is what? And the state and local aid issue was really a major holdup, and the Democrats decided to sort of cave on that, to let that go, and that opened up the way to a deal. But now other, last-minute snags have come up. So I think when the Democrats made that move, decided they can come back later under Biden and make another attempt, that really put everyone much, much closer to a deal. We felt like a deal was coming. I was up here for 14 hours that day. If I was going to come in late at night, it didn't because of these last-minute snags. I think, the top people got in a room, hammered out the outline, but then all the staff flooded in and the trading paper, and, it's just a messy process when you get into the details of these major bills.
Congressional reporter Eric Wasson. Eric, thanks for taking the time. I know you're super busy today, so we really appreciate it.
The biggest stories the moment they happen from around the globe. Subscribe to Bloomberg Quick Take now for insight in an instant.